So one of the interesting games is Tua goes to Buffalo. I had suggested about a month ago, yeah, what if he goes out west against these defenses? What happens when it's cold? He goes up to a Cincinnati or a Buffalo or a Kansas City. And the weather's not warm, and he gets exposed. Oh, I got major pushback on that. Well, the last couple of weeks, he's faced really, really heavy pass rushes, and he's been absolutely awful. Tim Tebow, awful. Like 3 for 17, awful. And people forget the Tebow thing. Tebow won 7 straight games. And reasonable people, excellent NFL people, lost their collective minds. I was at ESPN. Like coaches, like players. It's divine intervention. He can't throw a 25-yard out route. What are you talking about? Bad quarterbacks go on winning streaks. Those Denver teams had a great defense. They had Matt Prater. Tebow was awful until they went to a prevent defense his last drive of the game. Saturday Night Live did a skit on it. They were more accurate than NFL people were. Winning streaks, I guess, make people crazy. Tebow was a fourth-string, he's a clip holder, nice kid. But people went nuts. And I always argued, your eyes don't lie. Watch him throw. But our hearts, they tug at us. Our minds fool us. We root for the underdog. And Tebow was a great story. Southern Christian. Nobody believed in him. Tua, similarly, goes on a winning streak. 5-game winning streak. Whoo, the numbers. 4 of the 5 teams that he beat were ranked 31st, 29th, 27, and 26 in defense. The so-so defense, the Steelers, was middle of the pack, and they scored 16 points. He's small. He said he sometimes can't see over the line. He's been injured in college and pro football. But he does have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They went and got like a all-time left tackle, upgraded everywhere, brought in a young genius head coach, and in warm weather, standing upright, lots of time, quick release, he pulls off a 5-game winning streak. But 4 of those 7 defenses are awful. Context matters. Now, you can say, well, social media is at fault and it's crazy. Social media wasn't as profoundly important or available when Tim Tebow was there. I think it comes down to something very simple, that most people are good people, and we root for the little guy, and we root for the people that nobody believes in. I know a lot of Americans, half this country thinks if, you voted for this guy or if you voted for this person, you're a terrible person, but people can vote for the wrong person from time to time. Most Americans have a good heart, and we root for the undersized person, and we root for the person that's had to have obstacles. And Tebow, it spoke well of us. We were delusional, many people were, but it spoke well of us. We were rooting for the kid that nobody believed in. And Tebow, you see his hand fence, he's little, it touches your heart. You want that guy to succeed. But it did make me think, if he goes to Buffalo after San Francisco and the Chargers and just completely unravels, will this guy who currently leads in like Pro Bowl voting, Tua led in jersey sales, Tim Tebow led in jersey sales, Tua leads in Pro Bowl voting. They're not anywhere near the best player. But we love their story. And it's a good story. The little guy that nobody believes in is rolling and crushing and on a winning streak. But I do wonder if this game against the Bills, if it just completely unravels, are we looking at a guy that's probably capable of winning some games, even a winning streak? But we fell in love with the story instead of just trusting our eyes that don't really lie. Nick Wright, earlier this week on Tua. Which makes Buffalo and Miami, to me, the most interesting game of the week. Aaron Rodgers, meanwhile, is discussed a lot on this show. I may criticize Aaron from time to time, but he does put himself out there. He is a content machine. He's a human TikTok, and for that, I like him. Aaron Rodgers was on his YouTube show. He does a weekly hit on Pat McAfee on the YouTube channel. And he, once again, allowed us into his life and into his head. It's kind of fascinating. Aaron said, I've had a major fear of death. This is why I took psychedelics. Remember the Y2K thing? World was going to end. I was a young teenager, and I was like, I'm 16. I'm not going to be able to accomplish anything I want to accomplish. Rodgers said he struggled with mortality. It relieved a lot of stress, the psychedelic, around the idea of needing to accomplish things before I actually die, kind of taking away some of that fear. I think I've seen the other side. It makes the idea more of a passage and less of an ending, more of just kind of the next chapter in life. I'm not sure where Aaron or I am going to go when I die. I am not sure if there is a passage. I'm not sure if Aaron just got really, really high. But everybody is different, and I will say this, Aaron's looking for a deeper meaning in life, and I can appreciate that. I see people all over this country, I kind of feel bad for them, just banging their head against the wall day after day, week after week, same old tired ideas. That's not who Aaron is. I've said this many times on this show before, he is more artist than accountant. Now, many of the great quarterbacks in my life have been more accountant. Elway, Russell Wilson, Brady, Manning. Aaron's an artist. Conservative and liberals in this country view the world differently, and each party thinks the other is crazy. Neither really is. They just see the world differently. There's a reason that many of the great quarterbacks do think like accountants, because they like repetition, routines, consistency, predictability. That is very easy to be a teammate of because you always know what you're getting from your accountant. He plays by the rules. Repetition. Aaron doesn't. Aaron's a little moodier, more the artist, a little prickly. There's some narcissism, individuality, creativity. He does what he feels like doing in the moment. And maybe that explains some of his struggles in the playoff. That he is harder for teammates to understand. Even the way Aaron throws, we've noted this for years, off his back foot. That doesn't fit into the conventional mechanics of how you'd throw the ball. But he throws it so damn well and so accurately and so on point and so fast. It's just Aaron. He is totally different. And I want to understand that uniqueness, and Aaron, to his credit, lets us in. He is vulnerable, and I like that about him. I really do. He's a content machine, and some of it I find fascinating. Some of these more successful quarterbacks, Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson and Brady, I've got to be honest. Personally, they're kind of boring. I'd like to have a beer with Aaron. I'd like to sit down. He'd probably order a Pinot or a tequila. I'm more accountant. I just order a beer. But in the end, Green Bay has probably never been an ideal fit. He feels like the quarterback of an LA team or San Francisco, California. But I do appreciate Aaron willing to be vulnerable, willing to put it out there, because so few star athletes do. So for that, tip of the cap to Aaron. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.